Pinky's back. Did you go up top? Yep, she's up by the coffee pot. She likes that spot. Took her a little longer hanging out in the back, but she was ready. She was ready to get in the RV. She was ready to go to her own space. Right, Kink? RV's running good. I don't know if I included this in a video because I like to ramble. So if you don't like these videos, they're going to be rambles. That's what I do. Hopefully some people find them enjoyable. I was glad that I went down there and did the pet sitting for my aunt and uncle, giving them the ability. They took a nice vacation, which they needed. It was a workcation where he had some work to do, but they came back and seems like they had a really good time. And got to spend a couple days with them as well. And now I'm going to go home and continue packing up the homestead I have and looking over my options of what step I'm going to take next. So I'll go on a little ramble. Currently, the house I'm renting from my landlord is a friend of mine, and he gives me a really good deal. My car, which I want to keep because I like it, and I won't get what it's worth when you trade it in, so I might as well keep it, is almost paid off. So I have the option of staying in the house I'm at for a pretty good price, which once I get the car paid off, my finances will be much, much better. Or he has another house, which he said he took me over to see, and somehow when I recorded it, I managed to delete the recording. But it's a nice little 2-bedroom house with a garage that he's willing to rent to me real cheap. It needs a little bit of work, but it's another option. It's cheaper than this house. But again, that means keeping a homestead, and do I really want to do that? But it gives me the ability to have a garage and have space for my stuff and still be able to take pretty extended RV trips. But it would stop me from truly being full-time. And then my other option is moving into my aunt and uncle's basement, which I've talked about before, which is really nice, and which I can keep the few pieces of furniture that I value. I can stuff them all in that room. It's not going to be pretty. It's just going to be a bed surrounded by furniture. But that will give me the option of down the road still having things that I want to keep, things that I like. A very nice dresser, bedroom set, just a roll top desk, things that I want to keep. So basically I have 3 options. A pretty cheap living place that I have now to keep, a cheaper house to rent in the very near future, or moving in with my aunt and uncle and becoming about as full-time as you can be, and having a bed and storage room down in the basement. So I have a lot of options, and every one of those options I see positive factors in it. The only negative factor is not being 100% full-time if I continue to pay a rent. I might go on a 2 or 3 month trip and then come back and spend a month. So for those 2 or 3 months I'm paying for rent, but my rent's not much more than a storage shed. But then what difference is there between that and living in the basement other than having my own space? And I like the idea of being able to have my own space. I think my bigger goal for a while has been to go do a year or 2 living out of the basement of my aunt and uncle's, and then buying a travel trailer and finding either a cheap campground, which I've seen a couple, or a nice piece of land, a small piece of inexpensive land, and having a homestead, because like everybody, even people like Chris Penn, who's full-time, he tends to have places where he establishes roots for a little bit. And to me, I think that's an option that I like to have that option. So I found myself to be far happier when in my Class B when I'm on the move, where I'm spending 2 or 3 days in one location and then moving on. The times that I've spent a couple weeks in one spot, for me, that gets a little, I start to feel that cabin fever thing, that small RV irritation. But when I'm moving and stopping for a day or two, it doesn't seem to hit me as bad. And when you're out in the middle of nowhere for a long period of time and you don't have, say you don't have a campground with a picnic table and those other things that make your outside life easier, that becomes difficult too. I have a small table that I found that I like. I haven't used it yet on a camping trip. It's a small foldable table that will fit underneath the bed in my RV that I can still store stuff on top of. So I'm looking at using that, taking that along with me to increase my outside livable space, because as I stated in another video, I enjoy being outside, so the Class B doesn't bother me, but you need that outside space and those amenities to make living outside easier. I don't want to be setting my grill and my things in the dirt. I'd like to take that table along, so I'm going to give that a go. But smaller Class B for traveling, to me, works really well. But again, there are times that I get envious of somebody, even in like a 26-foot Class C, the more storage space. But I haven't really found the limited storage space to be that bad in this RV, because I keep enough clothes with me probably for 10 days, 2 weeks, and then hit the laundry. So it's just about finding what works for you. If you know you're a person who likes to sit in the RV and do whatever you want to do inside, play cards or whatever that a lot of people do, then Class B is not for you. If you like to be outside and on the move, then this is the deal for you. So just some more ramblings on a video, YouTubers. Have a great and wonderful day. Right, Keek? Tell the people, Keek.